Welcome everyone, thank you for being here. My name is Attila Nagy, I'm from the University of Pécs. I'm a philosophical PhD student at the moment, so maybe you can have some questions. So, now it's working. Okay, so you can ask. You can ask how CSR is related to ethical questions, and I can say that emerging technologies has a tons of ethical questions, of course, and on the other hand, the philosophers has got questions to companies and how they see is good and bad and how they want to realize them. And this two road is meeting here at the CSR, and you will see. I created in the meantime with some artificial intelligence tools, some captures and pictures. And for CSR and emerging technologies, it created this one, and I like this because something collaborative happens in this picture. Sometimes you can find people with 6 fingers or misfigured faces, but the main thing is that we do something together. So what is CSR? It's basically for myself and not for you who is living in this world and working with it. So taking responsibility by companies for the social and environmental impacts of their activities. This is the basic word. Basic meaning of the word. And by Carroll, he created 4 stages of CSR, like economic, law, ethical, and philanthropic fields. And in wider range, we can take care of the effects of technology for their people and local environment and the future. So basically, when we are thinking about CSR as common people, we used to find the philanthropic field visible for us, or the ethical basically, but the economic and law field means that companies tries to do something what is economically good, so they got some budget in the end of the year, and they are keeping the law what is already needed. So it's just basic sense. So what is transhumanism? This is my main focus, and Pixar created a cyborg for us, but it's a little bit different from that one. And why is it important? So transhumanism is something what is focusing on emerging technologies. It's emerging technologies and the visions of our future. It's a philosophy and a movement, and you can hear sometimes people are talking about transhumanism and transhumanism movement, like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and some decisive positioned people. And all of them is related to human enhancement, singularity, and post-human living. Basically, if I don't want to be long, the main focus of transhumanism is the 3 super. This is super intelligence, super lifespan, and super longevity. The super lifespan and super longevity is something is connected to biology. Super intelligence is related to AI. And when this 3 field is raised enough, so emerged enough, they merge together and reach the post-human phase or post-human era. As my research is deeper and deeper, I found that this post-human era is something what we are already living, because we all have, for example, technical tools which is needed for everyday life. It's not just our phone, but sooner or later our cars looks like that. We can argue with it later on. And the transhumanists has got a mission. They got the mission that they wanted to spread this science and technology optimism through the world. And in the last decade, they added that they want to spotlight the possible dangers of the emerging technology. They called it Humanity Plus. If you want to read more about it, it's Humanity Plus. So what is technomorality? I created a picture for it with crayon. It's a funny one. So technomorality is coined by Shannon Weller. She's a British philosopher, and she's got the main question: that how we can live a happy life in the 21st century. So this is the main question, and I got it's very correlated with CSR related topics as well. And Shannon Weller has based on Aristotelian virtue ethics, which is based on character. It's very simple that you have a virtue and you want to exercise it and you want to be better tomorrow than yesterday. And we have some virtues, what we are focusing on it. She named honesty, self-control, humility, and so on. But in a corporate life, we can focus on other virtues as well. So here's some questions, what is related to CSR and transhumanism and technological ethics. This is fair access to technological goods and the future generations or the future of humanity. Okay. Fair access to technological goods is something what is related to law or social discussion and to equal opportunities. Later on, I will discuss it more. Cultural values and cultural changes is important because technology changes our life. It's just common sense. And we can see that how we can sense the world and, as different, and even our life as different, and it makes us some hard decisions. And in the end of the day, we need a sustainable development because we want to take care of the next generations and we want to protect our future. Okay, here is some example to fair access to technological goods and equal opportunities. It was Francis Fukuyama who criticized that what transhumanists said. Basically, the basic statement was that we create technology which makes better our society or human life. And Francis Fukuyama criticized that she said that technological goods, to access it, it's very hard later on, and it creates a so-called Gattaca effect. If you don't know what is Gattaca, it's a sci-fi movie. I think it's from 1992 or 4, and it's basically was in a scientific environment where the humanity has divided two, and there was some people who's got genetically better possibilities, and there were the ordinary people like you and me. And yeah, this is what they call the Gattaca effect. And we got a philosophical approach for this one. We got John Rawls, the philosopher of the 20th century. I think he was one of the biggest Bacon in the 20th century for philosophy. And he coined this word, that veil of ignorance, which means that we born and we don't know where we born, and we got veil of ignorance, and we have to choose between social choices, and we always choose the good one because we don't know on what level we were born in the society. It's a little bit idealistic, a little bit platonistic, but it's a good base for lawyers and jurists to create equal opportunity related laws and so on. So it just, okay. We can use the enhanced versus non-enhanced words. The enhanced means that we add the human being something technological stuff, and this technological stuff makes the human being is a better one than he or she was before. It can be a cure, or it can be an enhancement. But some writers are arguing that the cure is an enhancement. They say that when I take a pill and I'm a better person because, I don't know, it's a painkiller, it's totally different than what we are using as an enhancement. So enhancement is something under our skin. So it's a very dangerous place. And we got just experiments here. Later on, you will see on my pictures. So cognitive enhancement, it's an example, and it's related to the previous topic, that it's a difference between a cup of coffee versus education. So a cup of coffee is a cheap cognitive enhancement. So I can enhance my brain, my body to make a better performance of my human life. But an expansive stuff is education, where I can know more, I behave different than 8 years before, and some things like that. And this one is the good example for cheap versus expensive, and it's pointing back to Francis Fukuyama criticism that we need a risk, we need a fair access to the technological goods. And there is another critique that the transhumanist enhancement or technological progress is not creates bigger happiness in our society. So we have faster cars, but we are not happier. We got bigger vessels, we are not happier. It's just basic sense. And in 2008, it's a funny name, GINA. It's No Genetic Discrimination Act in the US. And it's created because they were afraid that some workplaces, the companies can use the gene test to defy the people's ability, and they can choose the better people just based on gene test. And they wanted to prevent this before they start to use it. It's quite good. It's accessible on the internet. You can read it. It's easy to read in English. These are good solutions, I think, for how we can handle this risk of fair access, and how not to be something powerful against the weak. Okay, cultural values and how they are changes. If you check my left or right corner, I don't know, it's mirrored or not in your, on the left corner of your screen, you can see a gentleman, and this gentleman has got a strange wire from his head. And this wire basically is a camera. The person's name is Neil Harbison. He's half Spanish and Irish, and he's the first cyborg, officially cyborg, in Great Britain, because he's got this implantation. So he's got this enhancement in his brain. It's attached to his brain. It's drilled under his skull, under his bone. And why he did it? Because he was born with limited sense. He's got a color blindness. He doesn't see the world just black and white, but he's a composer, so he's a musician. And he's got this antenna with this camera, and the camera can read the colors and translates it into vibration of the colors in his head. So when he sees something, he hears something, he listens music when he's going to shop. So basically, because in the British law, you need to make a picture to your passport without hat or anything on your head, and it was not allowed, so it's not a detached stuff. He needed to ask officially that he's not a human but a cyborg. It sounds funny, but it's kind of risk as well. And another important or informative things, he's got 5 or 6 friends who's got an application related to this antenna, to the chip, and they can send pictures anytime they are separated in the world, and they can send picture anytime. So he's got listening music, what his friends sending him, and even when he's sleeping, they can send these pictures, so they can change his dreams. What is a little bit goosebumps me when I first read. Okay. There is another one with the Gattaca effect. It's the liberal eugenics. This can change our human existence and our future and cultural standards, and it causes a post-human ethical problem. So what is liberal eugenics? It's when we use the new biological tools, the new medical tools to create better humanity. And we create in the society some people who are better, some people who are ordinary, and it creates a crack between the society. So from that reason, we need social dialogue with these technologies in the future. Okay, and we back to sustainable development and take care of next generation. So why we are talking about sustainable development, why we are responsible for our environment and we are and/or activity. Here is, you can see what Oxford Dictionary says about sustainable development. And the transhumanist answer, it's the premature extinction, which means that we prematurely extinct the human life and or the environment, and it's a possible danger. If you watch the movie which was in the last year about the atomic bomb in the cinemas, there was a screen when they was discussing about that how dangerous the atomic bomb and it can destroy the earth, and opposite to this, they just made the experiment. So we always have to keep in mind what we're supposed to do, and sometimes we just have to say no for these things. And another interesting stuff is, which transhumanist point, it's the paperclip maximizer theory. Maybe you can heard it. Imagine that we get an artificial intelligence in a factory. It produces paperclip from everything which is carbon related. And first it creates paperclip for everything what is material and non-living. Later on from everything what is living. Later on everything what it can find in the universe. So it's a little bit ridiculous as it sounds, but it pointed out that how the risk assessment is important on corporate life. So, and the last one, the true sustainability. It's coined this a word that this is just not just react to a problem, but have to be solved and prevent proactively. So it's a proactive sustainability when we are thinking before, and we not just cleaning the water when we are a factory and giving back to the nature, but we are, I don't know, creating with this clean water a glaze or a small forested area or something like that. Summary. So basically what I wanted pointed that how I can live a good life in the 21st century. And I found it interestingly with Nagy András and Nick Bostrom, which was his common. Nagy András is a Hungarian green politics, a thinker, a philosopher as well. Nick Bostrom is one of the main figure of transhumanism. And both of them was thinking about that we need in the future visions and dreams to follow and fulfill with the values mentioned before. And Nagy András has got this nice sentence that we are the future of the 19th century. So the technological optimist dreamed everything in the 19th century, and the transhumanists continued this technological optimism after the two wars. And we are fulfilled these dreams, more or less. Maybe we are not living forever, but we are living duplicate life span as for generation before, and so on. So from that reason, we need something, a vision which can unite and protect our future. Okay, so here is something to read if you are interested in this wide topic, and thank you for your time and your listen. I give back.